if I can get this going, right? All right, we are gonna do past life energy oracle, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Today our moon is in Virgo. It's literally like cleanup vibes, purifying vibes. We also have a sextile between that Virgo moon and Jupiter, which is in Cancer, bringing a lot of positive energies, especially for your home, family, and things like that. Okay, so we're gonna do past life energy oracle. Just give me 1 minute while I find this video and get it set up and share it out. If you're just finding me, take a second to say hi. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right. Make sure you're hitting that share button. Make sure you're also saying hi. That'll help you get more cards and things like that. All right, it's giving me a hard time sharing it, but make sure you guys are sharing this out too. Okay, so I will let you share this out so we can get started. Okay, so we're gonna do, I've got a plan. I've always got a plan, right? Okay, I've got a plan with these cards. So, and I do a lot of past life work. I love it. It's like something I'm really into, we'll say. Okay, so the only point of kind of going into past lives is if it pertains to this lifetime. You've had other lives, you've had other experiences, you've even lived on other planets and other things like that, okay? But with these cards that we're going to do today, something pertaining to right now, okay? And we know from, we're letting go of a lot of old patterns from our past. Most of our karma that we walked into this life with comes from past lives. Yes, we pick up a lot of programming and things from our family of origin and karmic patterns and things like that. But a lot of times, a lot of our stories and things we're trying to heal right now and other things come from past lifetimes. So with doing these cards, I want to also do them with that intention, that something relevant to right now. Yes, we're going to dive into past lives today on this video, but only as it pertains to your situation and whatever's coming up for you right now as well too. And the whole point of that is to release patterns and things and to heal on that deeper level. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do these past life energy oracle cards and just kind of see what comes through. Make sure you guys are sharing this out. I did put a little post on my website this morning talking about the energies. If you're looking for more of that, make sure you're checking out my website, sparksofdivinelighealing.com. I love it. It's a beautiful site. If you're just looking to see what's going on energetically, what's kind of coming up, you can always check out my website. I am an energy healer and I have a ton of beautiful healings, clearings, and activations on there. I also do psychic work. I have lots of reading options and I teach classes like Reiki and Sekhem. So if you do need me, book me on my website. You can do anything in my shop right now that's up there. I'm going to flip it over tomorrow anyways, but anything up there you can always do. I'm going to be doing healings and activations today too. It's nice energy to work with, but let's go ahead and dive into past lives and where it's taking you. And then real fast, if you're able to sign up and be a supporter or send PayPal donations or stars, please do. It literally helps to keep this page going. So if you're getting something out of this page, awesome way you can give something back. But if you're sending stars, I'm going to try to give you a psychic shout out. You can send them just because. Okay, so we're doing past life energy oracle. Let's see what's going on. I usually do past life on video because it's like a whole nother wormhole, right? But we're going to do past life cards. Okay, so make sure you left a comment. David. Archangel Faniel, optimism and hope. And I love this too because this is everything we need to continue moving forward ahead. And this helps to keep us in a positive mindset, well, a positive energy state too. There's such a correlation between our thoughts, what we're thinking all day, and our energy and, you know, what we're transmitting, what we're putting out there into the universe. And we know anything we're transmitting energetically just flips back to us. Literally, that's what karma is. It's cause and effect. Like, right? So you're putting out a vibe, you're putting out a thought, an intention, it literally comes back to you. And so we're learning about that. We're learning how to do a better job with that. And this is like staying optimistic no matter what. And I was talking about the planet, being a 2-star review for the chair. Okay. Okay. And so some of the planet and the collective, and I think we can all say this is a time of change, okay? That's what I'm getting at. We're going through a lot of change within ourselves, collectively, the planet as we know it, things we love, whatever it is. And so we have that we're kind of facing, which we've never had to face. In our time, we're going through something a little bit different because of the awakening and because of the ascension, and that's okay. So we're no longer resonating with some things, and we're finding a higher resonance. And we're going to have to continue to raise our vibrational frequency because the energies are continuing to do that. So even when I'm a remote viewer, so even when I tap into early 2026, I'm talking January, not even February, I see it being a much higher frequency, and that we have to continue to elevate our vibrational frequency to keep up with that. And some people are just kind of like getting thrown in a spin dryer, going along with that and don't even know it and have a lot coming up. And some people maybe a little bit more consciously aware of the process and able to kind of move through it smoothly. But regardless, everyone's going through this process. And this process means that as we're going up and raising our frequency, the old stuff is coming up, the baggage, the karma, the blocks, whatever it is, but we're getting a lot more awareness so we can kind of move through that smoother. It's very important that we are having a positive mindset like never before, positive frequency, right? A positive energy and positive mindset like never before, because we're having to navigate these higher energies, and they operate, they work different, and they move a little bit different. So we're having to kind of change things too. Now, these are past life messages. This could be, and oftentimes our actual life in this life reflects a lot of past life themes that are kind of coming back round or coming full circle. So everything that we've been through in our childhood, our past, this really mirrors heavily our past lifetimes and even echoes from our past lifetimes of certain themes that we're working on healing. So this could be something that you're healing rooted in the past or past lifetimes that's asking you to just maintain a very positive energy and a positive mindset. And you see the power in that, how it changes just so much. First off, we feel a lot better. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You have two options to show up like, okay, I'm gonna handle this, the universe is gonna support me and guide me through whatever, it's helping me through this, or to sit there and panic for 12 hours on your own, right? You're still having to show up to the same situation. And so when we're in that as they say, called doomsday mindset, right? And it just stresses us out. It doesn't feel good. This is what actually creates disease and illness in the body, and we're stressed out and we're leaking energy, or whatever it is. So if we're having to show up for the same experiences anyway, we want to kind of show up in a better state. This helps us to move through things so we're not in that constricted energy of fear for the same experiences and things like that too. Now, it takes practice. It's one thing for me to say it to you and for you to hear it, but we actually have to do this and maintain that positive mindset. And it takes training, it takes focus, it takes practice. So I always say, continue your training. You guys have been trained for this. You've been training for this moment, this everything happening now, your entire lifetime. Some of the negative stuff that you couldn't make sense of, like why you went through. And I always remind people of this, like you had to have certain lessons to get here so that you could do this. So just kind of remember your training as you're navigating these energies and kind of what to do, because you know what to do. Let's do Kika. Archangel Raziel, one of my favorites. Inspiration, mysteries, and Akashic records. And this is maybe you're being guided to really tap into your own personal Akashic records, which holds everything. It literally holds everything from your past, everything that you've experienced, and everything that is even yet to happen. Literally, it's recorded, and I love it. Some of you guys are, and if you have dreams, like sometimes we're connecting more in the dream. It could be here too, but if you're having like literal dreams of libraries, schools, you guys ever have that dream where you're at school, even though you're like however old now, you're too old to be in school, right? And you're dreaming you're like in high school kind of dreams, you're in a library, you're in these places. A lot of times you are accessing the Akashic records, and this is the symbolism of it and things like that too. We spend a lot of time in school here oftentimes in our childhood and things like that, maybe around books or whatever it is. So you could even see symbolism, and this could be in the dream or awake, meditating of like seeing books, seeing that library kind of vision, schools, whatever it is. Okay. So when we're working with the Akashic records, this is something that we can train ourselves to tap into. And I always describe it as like meditative state. asking questions. Some of you guys are getting really good at this, actually, where you ask a question and you get the answers back, and you're tapping into all of this cosmic knowledge and wisdom, and you don't know how, and it's like you're encoding energy or whatever it is. So you're tapping in, it's something on an energy level. So sometimes this could translate into seeing the big picture of what you're going through a little bit more. Some of you guys were probably like me, a little asleep going through your life. And then you have a spiritual awakening. And after your awakening, as your gifts are coming online, you might be able to see things from a different view, or like kind of see, okay, this, I might have affected things over here a little bit more. And that's part of tapping into this as well, too. And so, maybe you're being guided to do some type of personal work. I do sessions, I call them, of whatever you guys need, but I just label it Akashic Record reading on my website, right? You're tapping into the energy of things too. So maybe you're being guided to do some type of personal Akashic Record reading or work. And this could go a little bit further. I have I know I have classes on how to read the Akashic Records on my website, and trying to teach you guys this stuff and get into this stuff. So you're being guided to work with your own personal Akashic Record, which will give you a lot of answers, especially if you're trying to delve into things like past lifetimes. I've done a lot of work with people, obviously, in this lifetime, and I know people that have told me they've had experiences that were like hard for them to grasp, that go way, way further back. And so sometimes we're reflecting experiences from other lifetimes, Atlantis, Lemuria, whatever it is, into our lifetime here, especially with all of the fear that we're seeing, right, that we're having to overcome on a personal level too. Some of it goes deeper when we dissect or dive into these fears and where they come from, and they can go deeper into past lifetimes and traumas that have happened. And when we can understand these things, and bring these things into the light, it can help us to make a lot of sense of things, or even to bring a powerful healing to things. So I always tell you guys, I've found that generally when you feel you're healed enough in this lifetime, it's like time to go into the past lives to heal more. Okay, so Antonio, physical issues, illness, accident, and injury. So I have found, and everyone is different, so remember, this is just kind of collective work when I do these videos, so everyone is different, why it's so important to do one-on-one work. But when it comes to illnesses, a lot of illness is karma based, and this doesn't mean okay, there's some, whatever, and it can be many different things. It could be literal patterns and how you think about yourself. It could be blocked energy, repressed energy, ailments, whatever. And this doesn't even have to be just illness. We're talking about that. Injuries, accidents. I always talk a lot about, and I know I wrote about it in my book, that I had a really bad car accident and things, and that was very karma based, or with a karmic, situation. So it could be all different kind of things. I know people that fall and hurt their foot, or, broke their arm, or have become sick and have not really found the healing they're looking for. And that's one thing that we've normalized. I hate to say it. I'm always careful with what I say, but we've normalized that of not really healing things, and kind of living with that ailment or illness, and kind of masking it and making it bearable. Okay, it's a little bit okay, I have that whatever physical ailment, instead of healing it, I'm going to keep taking this stuff and hoping it makes it better, and you know what I mean. And so oftentimes that's why we find such powerful results of healing things. And this is a past life reading, so healing things on the past life level that we can't always make sense of. Sometimes they're karma based and stuff like that too. And this is why I incorporate both together, okay? Yes, the medical and the spiritual, because this is why sometimes, they're just looking at your physical body okay, you got something wrong here, and we're going to help you with this. But if they all have a root cause that's spiritual or something karma based, there's more to go into. And this is why when we go into this stuff, we can heal on such an effective level. So if you're struggling with something, and it could be making sense of something from your past, or that you've already been through, or even currently, because a lot of times, and I'm realizing this, we need to take better care of ourselves, and anything that needs to clear, we'll say. And so there's a lot of people living with a lot of illness and issues, or whatever it is, on the physical level. So this is a message about your physical body, and anything. It could be something you've already been through that you're trying to make sense of, or even if there's anything still going on. And I think this is important for everyone too. If there's something going on physically, illness wise, get at me. Right, you guys already know this, for actually healing this kind of stuff. So anything kind of like that for you. Taking better care of your physical body. I'm going to put this down to root chakra. And so sometimes when we deal with the root chakra, we are dealing with our ancestral line, very connected to your past lives, by the way. So maybe some type of root chakra work will help you for that, and just overall health, vitality, wellness, balance. I find a lot of accidents happen during like retrogrades, not to go there yet, okay, and things like that. And so sometimes it's like moving too fast, not paying attention, right, and things like that. And so the more that we're grounded in our body and kind of paying attention, it'll help a lot with that. Sorry, I'm trying to get my music back. Yeah, so the more that we're kind of grounded and rooted in our physical body, we're going to have less of that in a good way. Sorry, my thing went weird. I don't know why. All right. Okay, let's do John Andre. Community, one of my favorite things. Personal or professional connections. We are built for community. We are not built for this like hermit mode avoidance that we're seeing in our time. We thrive in connection and community and being there for each other and being of service and things like that. And I love this because maybe you're someone that, whether it was in this lifetime where you very connected with your ancestral line or your family, that's one form of community. I love it, Cancer energy today too. So maybe you're someone very connected with your family and your family lineage, or this can go into obviously things like where you're from, where you grew up, what kind of community did you come into earlier in life, because oftentimes this is a mirror of the life you wanted and picked out in your past lives and kind of come to earth into. We're here to wake up and to find our tribe, so to speak. And this is why I think this is so important that we are connecting, that once we're awake, that we're connecting with the right people. The universe is going to send the right people to help you to the next level of where you're going to. And this is very important because sometimes we can, through trauma from our past, I find a lot of times people get closed off from trauma and they're not open, whether this is friendship or even romantically, and it can cause barriers and issues and things like that too. We want to be open to the right connections that spirit is trying to match us up with. And this could be friendship, romantic, business, work, whatever it is. You got a great idea and like someone comes in and they have the business for it or whatever it is. So this is like my networking card, and being open to the right connections coming into your life. We were literally built for community. We thrive in that way. And I find a lot of the problems happening now is the great divide, whatever it is. It's a new thing next week, right? Next year it'll be something completely new. We got the divides, right? Okay, now we're doing the political divide. Like, right? It's the grand thing of things, the grand design of things, and not in a good way. When we start to come together, we thrive, by the way. We do good. We feel better. We're not like, oh my God, I don't like your sports team, and you can block me because I like a different sports team than you, or I voted for this guy and I know you didn't. Like, whatever it is, okay? Some of you guys are elevating past the divide though, and you're like seeing we're all humans, planet Earth, right? We're kind of coming together during this time. So this is a card of like coming back to unity consciousness, coming back to oneness. You know what? We actually thrive in polarity. So if you can be friends with your neighbor who like completely hates your sports team, like they have banners up everywhere for the team you don't really like. Actually, this is where the magic happens. When we come together in polarity and duality, and when we can heal that, and it's no longer triggering you that they got like some different sports flag up in their front yard, and it no longer is triggering, and they can like their team, and you can be watching something completely different on your television. It's cool. There's probably a lot you have in common. Like, right? So we got to get past some of these like divides. They love to do that and kind of play it up with different things and things they do collectively. We're being guided to kind of elevate past all of that and kind of find we have a lot in common, by the way, all of us living on planet Earth during this time, moving through the same energies, going through the same upgrades, having a lot of the same stuff happening within our awakening and within Ascension. And when we start to talk about that, you're going to notice like we can learn a lot from each other and like a lot of positive things come out of it. A lot of you guys are being guided to find spiritual community. Some of you guys, it literally could be building your own if you're not finding that in your world and like bringing that through. Sometimes it's just finding like, a Facebook group. Galactic Council's a light worker, right? Finding Facebook group where you can learn faster and elevate, or, kind of coming together with community. And like I said, if you're not finding that in your world, you could always kind of build your own tribe. Wendy Miller, career history, job and work patterns. I love this because we have, okay, karma-based lessons. I've seen people, and this is very Capricorn energy, believe it or not. Everyone always thinks Capricorn's like great at their job. Like they love to work, right? Okay, it's very Capricorn though in some areas of the chart. But it doesn't have to be, obviously. So sometimes some of you guys might have struggled with work. I see that with starseeds, okay? I do these sessions a lot. I see that specifically with starseeds. You guys get that you can't sit with us vibes. You're here for big change. You see the big picture. You got gifts. You got things that you can contribute. The old doesn't want to change. I hate to say that. The old system of doing things clearly might not want to do change. That's why it's being rocked during this time, because we don't want change and we slowly get there anyways. Different topic. But anyways, you might have struggled with work or finding something meaningful that you could do. Some people, okay, I go to my job all the time, but it's a very monkey mind, whatever, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, but this could be also finding something karmic that is ensued in your work. In it, hopefully rooted in your past, okay? Maybe it could have been like getting fired, people being gossipy at work, people being cliquey at work. We see that a lot, right? And stuff like that. It could have been having a hard time keeping a job, having a hard time finding a job, being in between work, having something going on there, wanting to make more money, but you're not yet. And this is such a starseed thing when I'm kind of connecting with it and tapping into it too. So it could indicate maybe you've been through unemployment. This is huge for awakening. A lot of times people are okay at their work and they're fine, and then their awakening hits and it shakes up a lot of things, okay? So it's like needing to heal something there. I don't think anything negative in any area plays out without trying to get us to mastery and healing that area. So if you had a rough time in love, you're being guided to heal your love life and master it. You had a rough time in your jobs, as we're talking about, you're being guided to really heal that and like show up differently and like do better in that area too. Now the thing is, we see a lot of restructuring. And I don't like going into this rant, but I'll try to very fast. We see a lot of restructuring with society, and we're going to see more of it. We see places closing down, places opening up, shuffling around, right? Things that have been around for 100 years suddenly doing okay or not doing great in these energies. And I feel it comes down to service, and if things are helping people or hindering people, right? Or things are good for us or not good for us. That's a lot of what's coming up during this time. So say you got a great product that can really help the planet. These businesses are going to do amazing during this time. We got toxic products, not going to go there. They're shutting down, right? They're going away. So there's a lot of shuffling around that's happening too. And, you know, maybe your soul is calling you for more in this area too. I know a lot of people awakening get guided into like soul-based, soul-led work and like helping people and being of service. A lot of people, you know, go back to school. They decide they want to do something different. It completely shift a lot of things in their life, including their career. So if you had job problems of any kind, this could be rooted in past lives. I'm going to tell you what I told a person a couple of cards back. Work on your root chakra for that. It's going to really, really help you in that area. And for some, it could just be wanting to make more money. Like seeing your value and, you know, whatever it is, how you're showing up at work. Okay, let's do Misty. Warrior. Courage and taking on challenges. This is my Indigo Starseed card. I don't know how old you are, but that might factor in. It doesn't always, because we're talking souls, right? But we see a huge wave of Indigo Starseeds came to Earth at a certain time to help the planet. And you guys are fierce. Like literally, you came for the hardest part. You're not these cute little cuddly, if you guys have kids, cuddly little, you know, crystal kids that you guys birds or whatever it is. Okay, you guys are like a totally different generation, and we can see that. Okay, this is like my indigo card. You are an indigo starseed. This is probably a big part of what you're doing. It's very, I always say, Blu-ray kind of energy. And this is like standing up. Like you might have a real strong sense of social justice or justice. And I always say, sometimes these starseeds, when bad stuff happens to you, like you don't understand it, like this is not fair energy. We're in Libra season. This is not okay. You guys feel strongly about whether it's political or things on the planet of like this isn't okay as all of this stuff is coming up, because it's like the whole planet is sorting through a lot of, let's call it energy, right? It's purging out a lot of low vibration energy, because there's a lot of light hitting planet Earth on a collective level. Like if we pull back, like we just feel it in our lives, We pull back tons of waves of energy and light coming up. There's a purge that's happening collectively. I've never seen so much weird stuff ever collectively, right, on any given day. And that's okay, jokes aside. So there's a lot coming up, okay? And this is total breakdown your own programming. You're not here to play hero to the whole planet. I know you might feel you are, but you're here to break down your old programming and to release what is no longer serving you and to get with the new. It's a complete rewiring energetically from the 3D to your 5D self, okay? Literally, so 3D old self, 5D new higher self, angelic, galactic, right? Beautiful version of yourself, and that space in between is the inner work. So you're having to let go of old thoughts no longer serving you, old beliefs. A lot of us are stripping down a lot. Like we're letting go of, I don't want to say it, but old religious programming, society programming, family programming, things that we picked up along the way that are just no longer fitting in your world, right? So you're letting go of old. This is having an open mind and literally kind of staying open as you're seeing the world differently energy. That's what comes out of this big time with the awakening. You are not the same person 10 years ago. You're seeing things way different and you're getting a lot of, knowledge and things out of that. So you're showing up differently. When I deal with blue-ray starseeds, I'm always like inner child healing is key because you picked up a lot of karma and distortion at a very young age in your family, and that's okay, no fault to them, it's just what you signed up for. But what you're still carrying, you got to let it go. You're literally here to heal trauma, intergenerational trauma, heal your inner child, and to recode and the way you were always meant to be. So a lot of it is like activating your divine blueprint. This is a past life message because it's a past life contract. This is why many people awaken during this time, like literally, you were asleep, you didn't know what was going on, you're a little whatever. And then suddenly you're having this spiritual awakening because this is a past life contract to make sure that to keep you on track. So for those of you guys that resonate with being some type of, we'll say galactic being, starseed, having had past lives on other planets and things like that, you have very, very powerful galactic guides here with you, helping you. You're literally here to do this certain soul work, but you also are being guided and supported like next level with it too. This is why once a starseed does awaken or has a spiritual awakening, things begin to move fast. And I mean within yourself, energetically, the upgrades, integrating all of this. So this can look like a lot of DNA activations happening, changing, who you are and things like that. Let's do Lena, good morning. Phobia. We are here to let go of fear. And I was talking a lot about this. I don't want to go too into it, but when we integrate all of this light, we don't always know. We're at work. We talked about how you're living life, right? But we're receiving a lot of light. And so what happens is you guys notice those, and I deal with it like when I'm dealing with you guys and helping you, most of the time you're fine, you're great, you're doing the inner work, you're feeling a lot better most of the time, you're probably feeling more enlightened, you're feeling okay, but when you hit these lows, and you might not know why, okay, sometimes there's an energetic triggering happening, this is where the fear bubbles up and comes to the surface, you have a rough day, okay, and it's like hopefully not all the time, maybe you got 3 good days and then it's like a rough day. And I mean within yourself, within your own mind. It's like the ego is just freaking out. And that's the fear state of like, this isn't going good. It could be anxiety. It could be worry, stress, fear. And usually about the same stuff you're working through anyways when you get deeper into it and stuff like that. And that's because some of it is an energetic reaction. And we talked about releasing old patterns, programming, and energy. And as it is, the ego is kind of coming to the surface. But it's the fear I describe it as, okay? So this is like, maybe you're being guided to look at any fears that have been holding you back in this lifetime because they come from past lifetimes. And so we could have had our heart broken in a past life, we'll just say, and it didn't go good. We lost our lover, whatever. You know these stories. You've seen them on TV. Okay? You lost your lover. It went really bad. And then in this lifetime, I don't know why I'm kind of scared to open up to love again. Like I'm going to lose this person. And it goes deep like that with some of our thoughts that we can't quite put our finger on, but it's there, okay, within our programming. So we talked about some of our fears going deeper into maybe past experiences. In this lifetime, we have conscious awareness of that. past lives, we do not have conscious awareness of everything, but it's shaped us and it's affecting us. So sometimes it's like old fear coming up and you don't know why. I don't have a reason for this. And I was someone, and I don't go too into this, but as a child, I came here with past life trauma. And so sometimes we may or may not know that. We don't know that. You're a little kid dealing with it. What's wrong with this kid here? But I feel that about all of us, that we probably came here with some degree of past life trauma and even baggage karmically, because we see that it played out in the earlier part of our life, specifically of certain karmic challenges and things that have come up. This is rooted in past lifetimes. So oftentimes we might have come here with some type of baggage and trauma and stuff like that. Like if we look at very common fear, like fear of drowning, oftentimes those that hold that fear could be really common. Like I bet if I ask this feed, maybe 50% at least, will be nice, we'll say 30%. I would say half the video would raise their hand if I was to ask in an actual room and we do a little survey. A lot of people hold that, like, oh yeah, it makes me real, I don't like going into the deep water, I get a little claustrophobic, I get a little worried out there if things get rough. That comes from Atlantis and previous incarnations, because especially a lot of the people on the planet during this time probably lived during that time too. And so we can kind of go into that. And so if this is an issue now, we might hold that fear and it's not an issue. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm a little weird about the water. I don't want to go out there, go under it too deep. I got that. Now, I've done work with clients where their entire house flooded in this lifetime, and they were going into this and it turned out to be something from there. So if it's like an actual problem that you've lived through a flood in this lifetime, you had this happen, my car was submerged underwater and I'm not sure why, this can go deeper into it. So most of the time it's like, okay, I kind of have this fear, I'm aware of it, but I don't know where it comes from. And we can see that in childhood too, that a lot of our fears go back to childhood, I would think. And a lot of those come from past lifetimes. So when you're with a child that kind of is freaking out over something, like you might not think it's a big deal, right? And they're kind of freaking out. That's the fear, right? I always say to pay attention to that, because we come with trauma. And so, you have a child, and I don't know what to even say for this. They're really, some type of fire makes them edgy. They could have been someone that perished in a fire in a past lifetime. And so we can bring understanding and healing to these areas, because fears are very specific to the person. Now, and I'm going to wrap this up, but I find this very relevant in the work that we're doing now, because we've been manifesting a lot of things out of fear. And I always remind you guys of this, like top 5 worst experiences in your life, in this lifetime that you remember. You walked it, you went through it. Most of them are fear-based. If you go down to it, I've done a lot of work with people, talking with people. So, you had, and just within yourself, we could even say top three worst experiences in your life. That was actually stuff you unconsciously manifested out of fear. You definitely didn't want to experience it, but I feel it is so we can go into the fear to heal it and overcome it on some type of level. So unconsciously, if we're in a state of fear, there's a danger in us manifesting that and continuing to bring it into our reality. So it's something we have to heal, because when you're sitting around at home and no one should know your thoughts, you're like, I hope this doesn't happen. Oh my God, this could happen and it's really bad, or I'm afraid this will happen. And then it continues to happen. So while we're doing this manifesting work, it's very important that we are healing any underlying fears or things going on that level too. So if you are someone that everyone finds themselves facing some type of hidden or fear bubbling up, and usually it's like when you're having a good day, that's not happening, we hope, right? It's usually in the lows. So in the lows, it can bring up old fears to be resolved, to be purged out. Okay, we're gonna do John. Addictions, reactive behaviors, reclaiming your power. And so addictions can be obvious, the drinking or whatever I'm just saying, right? They can be really obvious, but sometimes they are not. They're old patterns that we go back to at times of stress or, popping back up. You might think you dealt with something in life and it's like, oh my God, I've been in this situation again. What is the universe doing with me? And sometimes it's to make sure you got the lesson and it's a redo, okay? So sometimes addiction, it could be really obvious. You're at the pub every night or whatever. Sometimes it's literally the foods that we eat that are really not good for us. It's anything bad for us that we continue to do. We know some things aren't good for us. Sometimes this is bad relationships. We know it's destroying us, bad example, but it's toxic for us, and we keep doing it and engaging in it and getting the same result. It could be, you know certain foods are not good for you. Your doctor keeps telling you, and you keep binging at night, or, no one will know, like stuff in your face with the GMOs. And so sometimes it's really obvious, like the patterns, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's our trauma responses and behaviors that we go back to that we know aren't very good for us. It could be sabotaging blocks, things we're doing. We are being guided next level to purge out the addictions. This doesn't happen like overnight. And I see that happen out of the awakening. You're being guided to kind of work on yourself. For some, it's obvious. It could be getting rid of, I don't want to say it, toxic pharmaceuticals, alcohol, marijuana, whatever it is. It could be more obvious in that realm, but sometimes it's not. It's like you had a bad day at work, you're going to get the kids me the cake because you had a bad day. You're going to go comfort yourself with food. For some people, it's connection, right? Okay, I know I shouldn't be calling this person, but I'm calling them up because I had a rough day. Or it's the way that we like to use objects, people, foods, addictions, whatever it is, to feel better within ourselves, even though we know they're not good patterns. Now, this could be obvious, like, okay, I got to work on that, but sometimes it's just letting go of old patterns and they pop back up, and it takes time when you've been thinking the same things your entire life, and suddenly, okay, we're at this age being guided to like literally retrain everything about our mind, how we think, how we perceive things, or even, different things like that too. So some people are bringing out patterns from your past, and it's not even like, maybe they're not even a bad person. Most people are, okay? But they might not be good for you to be around anymore because they might be triggering a lot of stuff from your past or negative patterns, or, it's all about the person that you're becoming too. So, you could have a connection and they seem fine. They're your friend, they're your lover, they're your family, whatever. But you're not a great person hanging out with them. You're not the best you can be hanging out with them. You could be better. You could do better. And you might notice you're, falling into an old pattern in certain connections or habits or situations, and it's okay. It's okay to outgrow certain things. So this is a message about outgrowing something. Now, these are past life cards too, so something rooted in a past life that you might be outgrowing and ready to let go of something. This could be a person, pattern, situation, whatever it is kind of coming up during this time, but there's an addictive quality to it. We would just let go of that, right? But it's like, okay, you're comfortable there. It could have an addictive quality. It's just easier to show up sometimes and to make these big shifts or whatever it is too. So this is like the addictive quality. And I write about that, like love addiction is an addiction too, and things like that too. So this could be anything karmic in your life. It could be like a pattern, things you're doing. It could be a situation, something that you're ready to let go of, but you're having a hard time releasing it within yourself. And that can be for different reasons. You'll get there. Okay, Vanessa, longing for love, loneliness, and this is like a huge thing too. Okay, so if you're someone you're like, lady, I'm married, I'm not lonely. Okay, let's just throw out a couple options. Okay, you're like, I'm not lonely, I've been partnered up my whole life. Okay, so if you're someone that has been serial dating, or I find people could have been in a really long marriage, at a young age, and they never had time to find themselves, and that's okay, it's just where they're at. But that's another sign that we're not as good as we think alone. I see people that literally serial date, and I'm not saying that's you, we're gonna go to the other side in a minute. Serial date. They literally cannot sit by themselves, because when we have to sit by ourselves, we have to sit with our thoughts. And we can't distract ourselves, last message, distracting ourselves, right, with, other things that take our mind off of it. And so we have to be good on our own to be better in our relationships. So some people can't sit alone. They feel very lonely. They got to go out. They got to go meet someone. Then there's option 2, which I'm willing to bet is more going to sound like you. You're in a connection, or you've been in connections in this lifetime, we hope, right? And you might feel alone. You might feel misunderstood. Your partner doesn't get you. This is very awakening to a sleep energy. Some of you guys have gone through a spiritual awakening. You might have been married a million years, or with a partner, and maybe they're not getting on board and they're kind of staying in the 3D, and you're awakening and evolving, and it's hard to talk to them. It's hard to relate to them. You want to tell them about spiritual awakening and you're healing and you're working on yourself, and they're not. or whatever it is. Okay, so even though we might be in a connection and we might be on different frequencies with people, and this is usually why connections fall out of alignment with us when you're doing the work. A lot of you guys might realize that. And so it's like, okay, some of you guys might have a hard time because you're no longer resonating with the old patterns and you don't want a partner that is anymore. And you're like doing a little bit of work. And so you don't want to be with people who aren't working on themselves. And so, or my favorite, some of you guys, the universe is kind of making you spend a little bit of time solo. Like, you might feel like I've been in a hermit phase with my awakening. I'm ready for love. I want to meet someone on my wavelength and on my frequency. And so it just kind of depends. There's something rooted in your past lives that has you holding on a little too tight. This is my Libra energy. It's very codependent energy. Perhaps you grew up in a little bit of an unhealthy codependent dynamic in childhood that could have mirrored this past lifetime in some type of way. And so you might have a hard time letting go of people even if you know they're not great for you. You might feel that you're in connection. You've been in, great connection. Looks great to the outside, but you're feeling your person doesn't really get you. When you try to talk to them, so there's a little bit of loneliness going on here, rooted in past lives. And I know a lot of people, you could be like, okay, I've been through the karmics and the lessons and things, but there's something there within yourself, okay? And this could be from past life loss of like why. So if you hold on to your partners a little too tight, you're like, right, and you don't know why, this could be reflective of past life things worth going into a little bit deeper. So for you, regardless of your situation, healing yourself, healing your love life will bring a lot more energy so you can connect on a deeper level. This is for someone wanting to get deep in connection, wanting to connect on a deeper level. Okay, so we're going to do Rita S. Loss. Reversal of fortune. This is like literally where you could be very wealthy and the tides turn, right? The sand changes and you could lose everything literally in the drop of a dime. And the opposite is true too. We see a lot of people coming out of scarcity and lack and rising up out of this in the same energies and healing and elevating and doing better. And so this is like literally things can change. And this is what a lot of people have a hard time with too. It's like, okay, you could be doing amazing in life and things change literally. And I love that because it's very karma where things flip every time they flip. And we see that happening in this awakening like never before, where you could have been really, really struggling and suddenly you're finding your niche and what you're supposed to be doing and you're elevating. But this is rooted in past lives where you were someone who literally had everything and lost everything. And maybe in this lifetime, you're still affected by this. So this could translate into this lifetime of like literally being afraid of being super wealthy because you think it will bring you some type of bad fortune. So maybe you're someone that like you're trying to elevate and you're trying to do better. Don't we all want to? But there's some type of block or limitation there. We're talking about past life block. So it might be like you have a fear of being very successful or very wealthy on some deeper level. Every time you elevate and get to the next level, it's like, oh my God, the fear comes up of like why you can't do this, why it's scary or whatever it is. And so this is for someone that might still be affected by this. You could be someone that is well off and you could be a little bit scared to spend your money, like a penny pinching, right? You're scared to spend your money. You might be like a hoarder, or you're coming out of that scarcity in this lifetime, that drop came into this lifetime too. I would say for this person to check your family upbringing of where that landed you in this lifetime, because that is our karmic state that we're born into. How were your parents? Were they poor? Were they rich? Were they middle class? Whatever. And dive deeper into that, because this is something that has affected you in your previous lifetimes, but still might be affecting your programming now. And so this is where we have certain fears around certain things we talked about from past lifetimes and we're not really sure. So this is where a lot of times people like project a lot on people that are wealthy or celebrity culture or doing amazing and, whatever it is, like deeper feelings about things. So just letting you know that. I always say those ego drops are hard. It's like an ego drop from a past life, where you could be doing amazing and guess what? You got to come back down every time. Like we get up way up there and it's like you got to drop back down oftentimes in some type of way. So if you have some type of worry about money, fear about money, and you're not sure why, this can go back to a past lifetime for you. This is why I always recommend doing some type of past life work to dive deeper into this stuff. It'll help uncover a lot of answers. Okay, I'm going on that note. I'm here if you guys do need anything. Just book it on my website, sparksofdivinelighealing.com. I have some nice stuff up there for today. You can do anything in my shop anyways. Have a beautiful weekend.